Noe?
Hi guys.
I don't think we have any viewers yet, but we will soon. And I just caught my wife eating a Canistel. And I said, well, let's show the people on YouTube what a Canistel or an egg fruit is. And then when I came out here, I realized we got a ton of fruit. We could share with you what we're doing for the next 15 minutes or so, and then you got to...
have a client.
She has a client. She has a phone call. So let's see if we have anybody. Oh, we have 3 viewers.
Yeah.
Oh
hey
my God.
Guys.
Let's see who they are. Keep them company. No, show them the raw, the Canistel. Yeah. Show
Okay,
them
so this is what the Canistel looks like, and it's so beautiful and soft. And I want to show you what it looks like when you open it. This is what it looks like when you open it. Look at the color, and it's like a pudding. See? Greater Good says hi, and Cuss Like a Sailor gave us a heart. He must know how my vocabulary is. But this Canistel or egg fruit, if you've never had it, it is so good. First of all, the texture. The texture is like a raw clay, like a nice like when you work clay and warm it up when you're molding with clay, or like a Play-Doh texture. Look at that texture. Oh man. And the flavor. Oh, it's a pudding.
Just incredible when it's properly ripened.
Yeah.
So here's one that's not properly ripened, okay? And it's a little bit hard. This one here is properly ripened. And any other fruit, except for maybe Mamey, you might say this is too ripe.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's like very soft. You'd think the fruit went bad. No, not with Canistel. Canistel is perfect. When you think it's ready to eat, give it another day. And that's also advice I got from Brandon at Roberta's here about Mamey. And for those of you who know Mamey, you might be surprised that this is a Mamey, but this is Mamey, and this is the Poso Azule variety of Mamey. I got this from Julian and Lara at Lara Farms this weekend, and it happens to be a variety you harvest in the month of January. Now, it doesn't get big. Regular Mamey
gets...
Oh,
it doesn't get big?
No, this is how big it gets. That's why it's not a good commercial variety. Like for me as a commercial grower,
Have you ever tried it?
No, we're going to try it right now.
No.
Publix and stuff don't want little ones like this.
No, of course.
You know what I mean? But as a backyard option, also, it seems to be an uneven ripener. It's very ripe on this side, but it's a little hard on this side. In fact, I had another one. Here's the one. Yeah.
Oh, that's
this one's more ripe. This one, okay, that one ain't ripe yet. This one's evenly ripened. It's a little bit bigger, and so we'll try that too. But like I say, Publix, Walmart, grocery stores, farmers markets, they don't really want little Mamey like this. They want the big 4, 5, 6 pounders, and this is a different variety. But as a backyard fruit, I think it's great because, when you cut open a 5-pound Mamey, you're not eating that whole Mamey. But let me cut this sucker up. In addition to Mamey, we've got its cousin, the Sapodilla. I think that's a Hacia, but I'm not positive. So let's cut open the Mamey. We'll cut it open. I was going to do wedges, but let's cut this thing open.
Yeah, so we can show them.
And much like the Canistel, the Mamey also has like a pudding. Oh, look at that. It's a different color. It's more pink. It
looks pink.
It's more pink than regular Mamey.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And so, but much like the Canistel, it's got a creamy center, a creamy... Here,
let me use a new...
Get me a spoon too.
Yeah.
It's got a creamy flesh and these beautiful shiny seeds. Some have 2, some have 1. Oh man, this will be my first Mamey of this season.
Ooh.
Yeah. Ooh, it's nice.
Oh my God.
Oh, that's a good one.
Wow.
It's different. It's definitely different. It's not as strong.
Yeah, it's
definitely more mild than the typical Magana or Key West.
Poso Azule.
Yeah, this is more mild flavored, where that Magana gets in there and just fills you up with flavor. This is if you like a more mild flavored, if you don't like a rich fruit.
Yeah, this is more mild.
Kind of in line with the Canistel.
Beautiful color.
The Canistel, I don't think is a very overpowering fruit either. That's more mild. Now,
if strong, overpowering fruits are your thing, what's that right there, Noe?
That's a parchita, passion
Parchita,
fruit.
or passion fruit, right? Let me cut this sucker open, but I got to do it carefully because these things are full of juice. And I've already sustained a significant...
You almost lost a finger.
I almost lost
year.
a finger this year, yeah.
Last year.
Well, a couple months ago, yeah. They sewed it back on. If you want to see the scar. Well, I can't, whatever, I'll show you some other day. Okay, so this is a passion fruit. So first I'm going to open it up, but then I'm going to let Noe drink the juice so we don't waste it. So go ahead, drink the juice, Noe.
Okay.
Right?
Ooh,
Look at her face, very strong.
Ooh.
It's like, in some ways it's a little like biting into a lemon if there was sweetness in a lemon, you know?
Yeah.
And that's what the flesh of the inside of a, I'm wasting all the juice.
Yeah.
Of the inside of a passion fruit looks like. I'll just take a little spoonful here for myself.
Yeah.
And tell them where you found this.
Oh, in my backyard. Yeah, I was just walking around doing my garden and I found it. I found one.
We have a big passion fruit vine. I just let it grow wild. It's
Yeah.
probably goes 20 feet high and spans about 40 feet.
Look at what it looks like.
And when these things are ready, they go from green to purple and they fall off the tree. And we just go out and hopefully we beat the squirrels to them. Let me
It's
check.
sweet.
Let me check on comments.
Let's.
Yeah. In the meantime,
What else can we eat?
maybe we open this sapodilla.
Okay.
Now this has like another day in it. But Junior taught me today that even a sapodilla that's a little early has a nice flavor to it. So cut that open and we'll contrast it to its cousin, the Mamey.
Okay. Ooh.
Yeah, yeah. So the set, smell it. See, has it got the smell?
Yeah. Look at that.
Here, use this one. I think it's softer on this side. No?
No, this one.
Oh, that's okay. Use that side. Yeah. Now, if this had another couple days, that would be a darker brown. But these are cousins. They're both in the sapote family. I think Canistel is a type of persimmon, but I'm not positive. But these are in the sapote family, but very different. And the Mamey has like a sweet potato, somewhat cherry tropical flavor. The sapote has a brown sugar flavor. It's like a pear with brown sugar. And I'll cut a wedge for you there. And we're just starting to get ripe ones, these sapodillas. We're just starting to get ripe ones off our tree now.
Ooh,
What do you
this
think?
is so good.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it? They're just coming into
Wow.
ripeness now. Oh, that's good. That's good. We've been doing testers the last couple weeks. And they're softening and ripening, but they didn't fully have their flavor.
Oh my God.
They fully have their flavor now.
They're amazing.
Fully have their flavor. Even this little one, this little variety here is called a maycock.
Can I eat this one?
Eat all you want. It's called a
Wow.
maycock. And these are ripe now too. Me and Junior found one out on the tree and ate one.
Really?
Yeah.
You want me to cut you that for you?
No, you can eat it. I know how much you love those.
Wow.
And I eat the skin. A lot of people eat the skin. You don't eat the skin,
Yeah, I
right?
do eat
Oh, yeah, I eat the skin too. Let me check on the comments.
Look, it's juicy too. Wow.
Greater Good says hi. Hi, Greater Good. Chris, bring me one of them stools, buddy. You know the big stools there? Yeah. Corey saying hi from St. Petersburg. How you doing, Corey? Greater Good sprayed sulfur today. That's fantastic. Yeah, I wouldn't spray. Well, today we were out topping our trees. So it's like, it looks like a bomb hit out there. There's branches everywhere. We have the machine in. But it would have been a little windy here to spray anything today. But I got to get going on that. William says hello. Hello, William. Michael ordered Monroe avocados for Christmas and they were amazing. Put it right there, Chris. Awesome. Thank you for the order, Michael. There we go. Right there like that. Chris, do me another favor, buddy. Fill me up one of my Starbucks cups with ice so I can have an iced tea. Okay.
Amazing.
There we go. A little makeshift studio here. I can't see crap without my glasses anymore.
Right, this part is super hard.
Yeah, it's still a little hard toward the outside. Yeah. Tricia says yum. Joe Blow says pretty. I think he's talking about you, Noe. Joe, say hi to Joe Blow.
Hi, Joe.
Cuss Like a Sailor's there again. Awake Now 007 is jealous and wants some mango. So do we. I just checked on my mango grove this afternoon. We got a few mangoes here on this property, and then we have another property a little further to the northeast. And I went by there today. It is loaded with flowers.
Oh my
It's
God.
just a sea of orange. It is amazing. Greater Goods sent a box. Yeah, he sent a couple of gifts. Thank you, Greater. I appreciate that, and I'm sure they do too. It was a tough week, the week after Christmas. A lot of my obviously California customers weren't able to receive packages this week. And so I had to cut a lot of refunds. But then people have been texting me today. Their orders are starting to trickle in. People that weren't near the fire. I mean, California is a huge state, but you know, coming from a place where we get hurricanes, we know how rough that could be. Mad Farm says Buenas tardes. I'll let you handle that.
Tardes.
I believe that's Espanol, correct? Let's see here. Corey Bethune knows that looks good, and you're right, Corey. And I don't know which fruit you're even talking about, but it's so delicious. One we haven't eaten yet to show you guys is star fruit. And most of the people that follow me online by now know what a star fruit is, and a lot of people even up north where we don't grow them, they know what a star fruit is, but mostly as a garnish. But a lot of people don't know they're actually deliciously edible.
Yeah. Beautiful.
They just have no shelf life. And so they're kind of picked early and sent up north green, but look at that beautiful star fruit. And zoom in, but don't slobber on my computer. Let me get the computer out of the way. But wait till you see how much juice is in a star fruit. Go ahead. Yeah. They're so juicy, right? So juicy.
Look at that.
Jupiter, mango flowers are full on. Should he spray some copper before fruit set if you did sulfur 2 weeks ago? No, or 4 weeks ago. No, I would do sulfur. I would continue with sulfur until you get fruit set, then switch to copper. And I've been told every 2 weeks. Now, I don't do much with sulfur because we don't really get the whatever those molds are out here, out west where I am. But I use Manzate. You got to go?
Yeah.
All right. Noe's got a client. She's going to say goodbye.
Bye, guys.
All right. And then once you get to the copper, once the fruit sets, every 2 weeks copper. Ramirez wants to know, what fertilizer do I use? I use 839 for carambola. I use 839 for everything but mangoes. With mangoes, I want to get that number at the front as close to 0 as possible, because my trees are all mature and they're all at the point where they bear fruit. And that first number is the nitrogen, and you want to go low on nitrogen to trigger fruiting with the mangoes. Hey, Chris, where'd you put my cup, Bubba? No, can you ask Chris what he did with my cup? I asked him for.
Right next to the sink.
Well, thank you. Okay, perfect. Thanks, Chris. Cassandra Figueroa, how you doing? Long time I haven't seen you. Not Naderos. This is not spam. He wants everyone to. Yeah, that is spam. Whenever someone starts something off like this is not blank, it's always that. It's always that. Like, I got these holy roller friends, like this guy here. Oh, this is not spam. Like, I'm gonna read the rest of your comment. Like, really, dude, don't be coming here spamming. Like, this is not spam. If it like, no one else had to say this is not spam. You know why? Their comment wasn't spam. Like, people invite me to their church all the time. Oh, I don't like going to church. I'd rather sleep in on a Sunday. Oh, you're gonna love my church. It's not like church at all. And I'm like, if your selling point of something is that it's not the thing that it is, how good could that thing possibly be? Like, imagine I say to you, oh, here's a Canistel. This don't taste like Canistel at all. You're gonna love it. No, I lean into it. It does taste like Canistel. It is Canistel. And they start telling me, oh no, it's great. We have music and a drummer and electric guitars. And I say, oh, well, when do you guys meet? Sunday morning. Oh, is it in a building? Yeah. What do you call that building? Our church. Is there a guy up front talking a lot and a bunch of people in rows watching that guy talk? Yeah. Do you call them rows pews? Yeah. Is that guy talking about God? Yeah. Okay, it's exactly like church. So why are you telling me it's not? And also, a little aside, I have a corporate background, 22 years. If you work for a corporation and you're invited to your, national kickoff meeting, or you're watching on Zoom the CEO's presentation, If he leads off with, or if at any point through his presentation, he says, we are not a blank company, start working on your resume. And what I mean by that is I'm going to say the name of a company, Goodyear. What do you think of? Tires, right? Ford, you think of trucks. Craftsman, you think of tools, right? If you go and get a job for Craftsman and you're invited to the national kickoff meeting and the CEO of Craftsman gets up in front of the room and he says, we're making a lot of changes here at Craftsman, and Craftsman is not a tool company. Craftsman is a, whatever, home enjoyment enabler. Work on your resume because you're already circling the toilet. Because, like here at Sleepy Lizard Avocado Farm, we're an avocado farm. And I say that loud and proud because I have great customers who I love. And you guys love us. And you guys love our avocados. This year we barely kept up with the demand. I ran out. I should still have avocados for another month. I ran out the week after Christmas of avocados. I don't try to tell people this is not an avocado business. This is an avocado business. I grow and sell avocados. Okay, that's my little pet peeve. But, and yeah. So anyway, okay, I'll get back on the fruit now. Jupiter Mojo, your Silas wood are still showing green on scratching. Yeah, I think as far as Sapodilla goes, the macaque variety is close to the Silas wood. It's a small fruit. It's a dwarfish leggy tree, right? And mine scratching green today. I found the first ones that scratch brown. Once you take them off the tree, you can't really see the color that good, which again, the way we tell if Mamey is ready, we give it a scratch. And if it scratches red, it's ready to be picked. Sapodilla, we scratch it. If it scratches brown or yellow, it's ready to be picked. Don't be scratching the fruit in the grocery store. If it's picked, it's scratched red or it's scratched yellow. It doesn't tell you anything once it's on a shelf at the farmer's market. All it does is ruin the fruit for the next person. But Jupiter, the Silas wood is such a great variety. I love it. Joe Blow is giving us a little, I don't know, a little beer thing. I forget what you call that, when you clank the glasses together. Corey says she is beautiful. I assume you're talking about my wife. I'll let her know. She's out on the porch on a phone call now. ID Big Blocks Pete, it's good to see us back. Yeah, we haven't been on. I've been making little shorts here and there, but we got real busy toward the end of the year. And then, frankly, there wasn't much to talk about over the holidays. And so if I don't have nothing to talk about, I'm not going to force just to make content. I'm not going to make, I make crap content, but that's by accident. I try to make content that people find interesting and will watch. But if I can't think of something or I'm not feeling it that day, if I have a little bit of a cold, maybe sometimes I'm stressing about something, I don't make videos on those days. And just over the holidays, I don't know, I wasn't fully myself. I was just a little low energy. Maybe I had a little cold or something. I don't know. But also, there's not much to talk about in the tropical fruit that I do that time of year. Big O from Tampa. Oh, the Hunt for Truth appreciates us. Thank you. Awaken Up 007 is going to be looking for these. I assume you're talking about these Canistel. Now, if you're talking about Mamey, I do sell Mamey. Mamey is a specialty fruit. Very common here in South Florida, but rare in the rest of the country. And the Mamey we sell are about 10 times the size of this. They're 3 to 5 pound each. And I sell a 6 pound box at guacfarm.com, GUACFARM.com. I also sell avocados, mangoes. Next year, I'm going to start selling Sapodilla, which is this stuff. I didn't get a big enough crop this year to sell it, but I don't even grow Canistel. This was given to me by Julian Lara at Lara Farms. You might be able to get some from him if you reach out to Lara Farms. I don't know if he sells it or not, but I don't sell Canistel. I don't grow it. Looks like I'm back. Sorry about that, everybody. I had a phone call come in. Sorry about that, everybody. I had a phone call come in while I was trying to talk to you because I haven't figured out how to put my phone on. Do not disturb. But I'm back. Sorry about that. Yeah, Canistel. I don't grow. So you might try Julian, Lara. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Okay, Nataros has a proposal, and he won't post again. No, you can post all you want. Yeah, I don't care. I don't delete people's comments. I get a lot of abuse. I have deleted a comment or two when I thought someone went a little too far picking on one of my other commenters. But y'all can come at me all you want. I don't care. So let's read Nataros's. That's the guy that was spamming a second ago. Here's my proposal, and I won't post again. I promise. I am sincerely trying to help people. All I ask is you remember my name. I watch all your videos. In 3 months, I will comment again. You can comment all you want, man. But look, if what you were proposing wasn't spam, then my advice to you is don't lead off with this is not spam. In fact, on my little rant before, I should have worked that in. If you're in the audience or you're the recipient of a message and the person is trying to tell you what they're not, oh, like multi-level marketing. Oh, it's like Amway. No, it's not like Amway at all. You find a friend and they buy from you and they buy 2 friends and they find 2 friends. It's exactly like freaking Amway, dude, right? When people are telling you something is not what it is, run. Don't even engage the conversation. Now, if you have something legit, then never, ever, ever describe it by saying what it's not. I don't hold up an avocado and say, this is not an apple. I tell you it's an avocado and this is why. Don't ever lead off with, this is not. Don't ever lead off with, I'm sorry to bother you. Don't ever lead off with, I'm going to be really quick. I know lunchtime is coming. That devalues what you have to say. If you're on the agenda and if you're the speaker right before lunch and there's 15 minutes before lunch, those 15 minutes are yours. You don't have to stand up and apologize and make a promise, I'm going to go quick and get you out of here, so you're not late for lunch. And most people, when they say that, they end up making you late for lunch anyway. So go ahead and comment all you want, Nataros, 14. Fruitful Finca. Hi, Tom. Finca means farm in Spanish, by the way. Fruitful Finca planted a 15-gallon Catalina avocado tree from a Southwest Florida nursery last year in the ground, and there is dieback. Do I need to spray anything? Yeah, I mean, we spray our avocados here in South Florida with copper antifungal about every 30 days, from the time they start flowering till you pick your last fruit. But you're also going to get, some browning on your leaves, and you're going to lose some leaves every now and then, and they'll replace themselves. But keep living with it. You live in Northport, and the tree, it was in, okay. All right, Fruitful. There might be an issue called, your tree might be root bound. If it was in the 15-gallon pot a long time, and the roots didn't have anywhere to go, they'll turn in on themselves. And eventually they'll just turn into one big giant hunk of wood down in the bottom of your pot. So I don't know how many months, and maybe you can make a comment here, how many months your tree's been in the ground. But if your tree's been in the ground like 90 days or more, certainly if it's been in 6 months, if you grab it by the trunk, by the stem, and kind of shake it and try to pull it out a little bit, you should feel resistance. You should feel that the roots have already grown out into the ground. If you could just yank that sucker right out of the ground without a lot of force, you don't want to rip anything, just, pull it out, right? Then it could be root bound, in which case you need another tree. And, if the people who sold it to you root bound, you're going to have to decide, how you want to deal with it with them. Rockaways, what variety of Mamey am I offering for sale? Right now, the first ones that come out will be Magana. So this little Mamey here, wait, let me get this Canistel. Let me clean this. That's Canistel. So good. I got some Canistel on it. These little Mamey, this is called Poso Azule, which I think translates to like Blue Lagoon. I'm not 100% sure. I'm going to Google that. These are small, and they ripen in January, even in December. The Magana starts last year it started late January. That was an early season, but it tends to start more like in February. Hey, Chris, can you do me a favor, Bubba? Can you pour me that tea? I thought I was going to be able to do it myself, but I'm too yappy tonight. So starting with probably second week of February, we'll start shipping. But the ones we're taking pre-orders for now of the Mamey, which are going to be, like I say, 7, 8 times the size of this. Get you a coffee cup up there in the cupboard, Chris, and scoop it out with that. You know, is Magana. So over here to the right, buddy. We'll start out with Magana, and then toward the end of the summer, we'll switch over to Key West. Those are the 2 varieties that I have that we grow at Sleepy Lizard. Actually, I grow a third called Pest, but the tree, it's still a young tree. I've only gotten like 3 fruit off of it so far. Okay, Nadaras, 14, lesson learned. My approach was bad. He just wants everyone to know about research and what's going to happen. Oh, he's talking about crypto. Get out of here. Don't even come back. Take that shit somewhere else, bro. It is spam. Don't be listening to this guy. This is a fruit thing. I thought you were talking about some kind of fertilizer or something. Yeah, don't be trying to get money out of my viewers, bro, with your crypto stuff. Take that somewhere else. There's plenty of people talking about crypto online. Yeah. I should have went with my gut. See, I kind of admonished this guy, right? And then he came back and he like, bro, I'm sorry. I was like, no, it's cool. But now look, he's here trying to shill crypto. Knock it off, dude. This ain't the right place for that. People be coming here with, see? Okay. Okay, Fruitful Finca, 9 months in the ground. Thank you, Chris. I really appreciate that. Grab me a straw out of there, too. 9 months in the ground. Yeah, so by now, that 9 months in the ground tree, the roots should have grabbed onto the ground. So if you could shake it a little bit and you see like a crack open up, the shape that you put in from the pot, and you could kind of lift it out, it might have been root bound. Now, don't go yanking, but if it just slides out almost as if you never put, like you just put it in the hole 5 seconds ago, then you might have a root bound tree. I've tried to save them by pruning the roots. It's never worked. It's never worked for me. Maybe there's a way, but it's never worked. The Rockaways, that must be a Poso Azule. You got it, Rockaway. This is a Poso Azule Mame. Absolutely delicious. It's the first time I've ever tried it. I like it. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate that. Definitely more mild than the Magana. Certainly more mild than the Key West, which for me is the most flavorful one I have tried. But I think as a backyard option, this Poso Azule is nice because you get these little ones. And, you know, you go out, you could have 1 or 2. You don't have to, like, cut one open and eat a quarter of it and try to keep the other one, the other one safe. Or the other ones from going bad. Okay, who else we have here? Video for Geeks, Happy New Year. Best avocado and pear AB to start out with in Tampa. Okay, so what this guy's asking is combining avocado trees. And there's a little bit of a science to it because avocados have a flowering habit, a flowering characteristic called synchronous dichogamy. I think I got that word right. Synchronous dichogamy, which pretty much means there's 2 types of avocado. There's two types of avocados when it comes to flowering. There's type A and there's type B. And so certain varieties are either A or B. So the Simmons and the Donnie, for example, they're both type A's. The Monroe and the Hall, they happen to be type B. This is a simplification, not an oversimplification, but at its highest level, the type A's pollinate the type B's, and the type B's pollinate the type A's. And the reason is, this is so interesting, it's amazing. Every avocado flower, so this is an avocado, it's got a seed inside of it. That seed is the result of pollination, right? A female avocado flower received pollen from a male avocado flower. But every avocado flower has 2 phases. It has a male phase and a female phase. And that phase is out of sync between the A's and the B's. When the A's are in their male phase, the B's are in their female phase, and the A's are pollinating the B's. Then the next day or later in the day, let me look that up. they switch, and then the B's are in their male phase, and the A's are in their female phase, and they're receptive to pollen. And so, let me look that up just so I get it exactly right for y'all. What am I doing here? Here we go. Okay. Oh, never mind. I used to have a little graphic here that told me which one was which. I can't remember if bees are male in the morning, but whatever it is, one's male in the morning and it closes, and then they open later in the afternoon as female. The other one are female in the morning, they close up and they open up in the afternoon and evening as male. So you get that switching. So the question here was, what's the best mix of A's and B's for, oh, let me see here, who asked me that question? Let me just scroll up. Who was it? Who just asked me that question? Well, I'll get back to it. But anyways, the question was, what's the best combination? So I mentioned earlier, a Simmons variety is a type A. A Monroe variety is a type B. Simmons happens to be an early variety. We typically pick those from late June, and we can keep them on the tree till about early August. You can keep them longer, but they start to get sunburned. The trees don't have a lot of leaf coverage for Simmons, but Simmons starts in June, you can pick them to August. Monroe starts in November, you can pick them into February. Simmons is an A, Monroe is a B. They make a great combination because even though you pick the fruit at different times, they all flower at the same time. It's just the Simmons only takes about 3 to 4 months till it's ready to pick, where the Monroe takes 9. So you'll have your Simmons type A, your Monroe type B. The Simmons will pollinate the Monroe when they're both flowering at the same time. The Monroe will pollinate the Simmons. Then you'll have fruit in June, July, and August. Then you take a little break, and you'll have fruit in November, December, January, February. So you'll get fruit 7 months out of the year. You'll have an A and a B, an early and a late. They are both very, very delicious and highly prized, highly sought after avocados. The Simmons tends to be a little more on the it's a little less oily, tastes a little more nutty with a firm flesh. The Monroe is a tad more on the oily side. A little more creamy, a little more spreadable, makes a great guacamole. So that's my answer if I had to give you two. That was an awfully long answer, but it is a live stream. I do have to yap about something. Okay, where are we at now? Big O, new mango in the ground. How thick should the trunk be before letting it hold fruit? Well, Big O, that also depends on the type of mango, right? If you're going to produce little tiny turpentine mangoes, on the other hand, if you're going to produce big, enormous kits, right? It's, probably needs to be a little bigger and stronger. And it's not just the trunk, it's also the branches. And so I think you just have to use your judgment, use your discretion. When you look at the tree, imagine it holding a bottle of Coke, or a can of soda, right? That's got to weigh a pound and a half. I don't know. It's 12 fluid ounces, but I don't know how much that weighs. Maybe it's close to a pound, right? So a 2 to 3 pound mango probably is going to weigh as much as 2 cans of soda. And so picture in your head is that if I tied a bag with 2 cans of soda, is it going to pull that branch down and crack it, or is it going to pull my tree over? And also, if your tree limbs are narrow and you want to get more growth out of the tree, it's probably best to prune away the fruit and not let it grow that year and trade that for more tree growth and root growth. So in subsequent years, your tree's a lot bigger and you'll get more fruit faster. I didn't answer your question because I don't think there is an answer. 2 inches, 3.5 inch diameter. I don't think there is an answer. I think depending on the type of mango and just kind of use your judgment and get a feel for it, and heck, if you make a mistake, if you let it fruit and it's too small to fruit, it's going to drop the fruit anyway. You slow the growth down a little bit, but this is a 40-year project anyway when you plant a tree, right? All right. Fruitful Finko says, thanks, video for geeks. You're the one that asked me about the A and B. Joe Blow, root-bound roots choke themselves out. You're exactly right. Rockaway's guessed correctly that it's a Poso Azule, and he wants to know about it. So the texture is identical to every other Mame I've ever eaten. The flavor, the first bite, it's like, yeah, if I was blindfolded, that's Mame. It tastes a lot like the Magana to me. However, it was also milder. There was also, it just didn't pack as much a punch, I found, as the Magana. And my opinion is, as a commercial grower, I wouldn't plant the Poso Azule. Little Mames like this do nothing for me. And the cost of labor to pick, you know, I'd have to pick thousands of these to equal picking a few hundred of a, you know, 3 to 5 pound Maganas. But as a backyard option, I think the Poso Azule would be great. Again, because sometimes it's, you know, you can just leave them on the tree for a long time. Go out, you want a little snack, just pick 2 of them and eat them. And I don't know, for anyone that's never tried freezing a Mame, just take it, stick it in, wait till it's fully ripened, stick it in the freezer whole. The next day, it's like eating ice cream. Oh, it is so good. So good. Not Mikey, joined late. Did I talk about when I was going to ship mango cuttings? Okay, Mikey, not Mikey. I just called you Mikey. You're clearly not Mikey. And you did join late, and you missed my whole thing about never lead off a conversation by saying what you're not. I don't lead off conversations about avocado saying, this is not an apple. I don't know if you could change your name, but dude, not Mikey. I mean, what? Who are you? Bobby? Robbie? Philip? Andy? But anyways, not Mikey. What was your question again? Did I talk about when I'm going to ship mango cuttings? I doubt I'm shipping cuttings this year. I don't ship cuttings every year. It has to do with the way my trees are growing, the way I've pruned, how early or late the fruit season is. So this year, I was able to do mango cuttings because it was the worst mango season I've ever experienced since I've been a tropical fruit grower. From talking to people, it's, for some people, I think it's been the worst mango season they've ever seen in their life. And so we didn't have a lot of fruit on the trees. So, usually if you have a fruit at the end of every branch, you're sitting there waiting to pick them. When there's no fruit at the end of the branches, of course, you can go out and harvest cuttings and sell them. So I really can't say when I'll be or if, because I decide from year to year. Now, generally speaking, you want to sell those cuttings when they're juicy and fat and getting ready to push. And I find that like the cup style ones, where there's a panicle that didn't create fruit and fell off and they start to sprout along the sides. This year and previous years, I've found they tend to be ready more toward the end of summer. So I send them then. And the ones that kind of pop and push out of the middle are more like October, maybe just before, maybe October, but I don't know if I'm even going to be doing cuttings this year. It just depends on what Mother Nature gives me. Where are we here? Yeah, Nataros thinks he's going to be rich on crypto. You're not. So yeah, we'll go check on you in 3 months. You're young, aren't you? Yeah. Megan Maldonado. Do I plan to expand to selling fruit trees? No, Megan. I'm optimized as a fruit grower, not a tree grower, a fruit grower. And there's a lot of reasons why, as a fruit grower, it wouldn't make sense for me to be a tree grower. For example, with avocados, there's 3 seasons, early, mid, and late. And as a grower, I only really need 1 or 2 of each, and it's more efficient. So to have 2 earlies, like the Donnie and the Simmons, and then when summer comes around, to have the Miguel and maybe the Catalina. And then when the fall comes around, to have the Choquette and the Monroe. I only need the 2 varieties. That way if one's not producing so well, hopefully the other is. But that only gives me 6 types of trees to then harvest the budwood, graft, and grow trees and sell them. Whereas a nursery, you want every type of avocado, you want every type of mango, you want every type of mame. And if I had every type of avocado, that would be a very inefficient way to manage my farm. Because, I tell my boys, okay, for the next couple of weeks, we're picking Simmons. And we go out and we pick all the Simmons. If I only had 2 Simmons trees and 2 of these and 1 of those, it would just be a mess as a fruit seller. So, no, that's not a business I'd want to get into. Also, the state of California, a little section of Texas and the state of California, other than Florida, are really the only other place that you can grow a lot of this stuff. And it's a lot to get approved by the state of California to be able to sell your trees there. Plus, with the inspections you have to do per shipment, you got to pass a cost on to the customer. I'm more optimized for fruit. And there are such well-established nurseries, people that are in their third generation selling trees here in South Florida. I'm more comfortable just referring you to people I know in the industry. I'm always referring people to Lara Farms, which is larafarmsmiami.com. That's where I get all my trees. That's where I got this delicious Canistel, which I'm going to take a bite of right now. That's where I got this Poso Azule. He's a nurseryman, and he's got great trees. Alex at Tropical Acres, master of mangoes, and a perfectionist, like just a master of his craft. While I've never met Chris from Truly Tropical, I watch all her videos, and I know she has a great reputation, and I know people that buy trees from her, and there are others, and it really doesn't make sense for me to even try to compete against those guys. I'd rather just refer my viewers to them. Where are we at now? Let's see here. Wow, we got a lot of participation tonight. Okay, is mango season off to a good start? I see many flowers. Yeah, Guillermo, there's a heck of a lot more flowers right now this time of year than there was last year. And I just drove by one of my farms a couple hours ago, one of my grows. Oh my God, it was just beautiful. And you could already smell the mango flowers in the air. In fact, talking about Lara Farms, we were up there on Sunday, my wife and I, with Paul from Fruitful Trees. And the main focus was to sample different varieties. Paul did a video on Fruitful Trees. You'll see we did a video that shows about 6 or 7 different varieties of starfruit or carambola. But I mean, while we were there, there's Poso Azule, Mamey, there's some Canistel, and he sent us home with a lot of delicious fruit. And the whole time we're there with our friends, we're there with Julian, we're there with Paul. Paul and Julian have babies, like young, like still in diapers, children. It's so awesome. And then our wives are all friends with each other, and we're walking around, we're finding ripe fruit, we're eating it right off the trees or right off the floor. And the smell of mango flowers is everywhere. And the temperature was great. It was just a perfect day. And we're just getting into this season now. We're just driving your kid to school in the morning or going to Walmart. As soon as you go out the door, you smell mango flower here in South Florida. And it's just amazing. It is just amazing. Where are we at now? Okay. Ken De La Cruz wants to know if I have any Monroes left for sale. I do not. If you were here at my farm, you might be able to go out for an Easter egg hunt. And if you were even able to navigate the grove with all the down branches we have, because today we took our topper in and cut the trees, and I've got, thousands of limbs and branches and stuff in the rows. There might be a few fruit here or there hanging on the trees, but we were kind of reduced to this quality, small. This is small for a Monroe, kind of dirty, not something I'd really want to send to a customer. There's a lot of sunburnt fruit, so that's the color of a Monroe. When I say an avocado gets sunburnt, look at that yellowing there. Here's the natural color, the normal dark green. When it's exposed to the sun too long, and so we were down to the runts and the rejects and the uglies over the last 2 weeks or so. I don't have any more Monroe for sale, which kind of bummed me out because of all the people in California, not the ones in the fires, but all throughout the state, who had their shipments held up because of the wildfires. Normally I would just pick a whole new batch and send them to them, but I'm out of fruit, so I had to give people refunds. I would have loved for them to got the fruit, and taste it. Maybe I'll send them a little surprise box in the spring. We'll see. Let's see here. Perry Bridgman, thanks for keeping the live focused. You're welcome. I mean, I was a salesman I was a vice president for a huge corporation, and pretty much my whole job was to monitor for miscommunication and straighten out, I don't think you're answering the question that she asked, you know what I mean? That kind of stuff. Greater Good is telling me Lula's a type A. Okay, it's whatever. Okay, I mean, thank you for that clarification, but my description of A's versus B's still stands. The Rockaways, how do I feel about planting fruit trees during the colder months? For me, Rockaways, it's not having to do, it doesn't have anything to do with cold versus warm. It has to do with wet, wet versus dry. And I prefer to put my young trees, I prefer to wait till they're about chin height or chest height. And I prefer to put them in the ground right at the beginning of rainy season. That way I don't have to worry about going out and watering them. Every now and then, circumstances are such that I have to, you know, I just have access to workers and I have access to a drill. We get a bunch of holes dug and I have to put some trees in before the rains come. Then you got to find ways to irrigate the little trees without irrigating the whole grove, because you don't want to overwater the grove and it just turns into a mess. So for me, I prefer to wait till about June. You know, you just get that first 1 or 2 summer storm. I'm talking about South Florida here, and get them in the ground. I understand in Texas, your wet season is more like in wintertime. But I like to plant just before rainy season, and especially for mangoes. It's mangoes, you really only want to water them either if it gets super, super dry or when you first put them in the ground. But if you drive around here, you'll find most mango groves don't even have irrigation, especially the very, you know, the ones that have been around 40, 50, 60 years with the big old mango trunks. Mangoes don't like a lot of water. Let me get a sip of tea here, speaking of water. All right, Neteros is a homesteader. 831 Alva, how you doing, man? Do I use gypsum? I don't, I don't have a, well, okay. I just kind of stick to some real basics. You know, I fertilize with 839. I spray copper fungicide every 30 days, and I do add a micronutrient mix to that, a foliar micronutrient. And that's pretty much about it. I don't really mess around with other stuff. Perry Bridgman, can you boot this clown? I think I know who you're talking about, the crypto guy. I don't usually boot people. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't really care. I know there's like they asked me on one of the Facebook channels, one of the mango growers channels, you know, would you like to be a moderator? I said I'd be happy to be a moderator, but I'm not banning anyone and I'm not deleting anyone's posts because I don't care. I mean, I know, Perry, I don't mean to argue with you, but I don't care. Let the guy stay. He's, you know, he's got a voice. He's allowed to say what he wants. We're losing free speech in this world. And I know, like, I'm not the government. You know, the Constitution doesn't compel me to give other people free speech. But I think culturally, you know, I grew up in an era when we would say sticks and stones will break my bones, but names will never hurt me. I grew up in an era, if someone went running to their mother or to their dad whining that someone called him a name, the dad's going to slap you in the back of the head, tell you don't be a pussy, and go out there and tell them a name back. And somehow we've gotten to the point where, like, people are crippled by insults and words and messaging they don't want to hear and messaging that differs from them. And to the extent that I could control an environment, which I can on my YouTube channel, I just let people say what they want. If they violate YouTube terms and conditions, YouTube's going to delete them. But I'm not going to delete the guy. I don't give a shit. Edgar Sanchez, what's my favorite avocado? The Lula. I love the Lula avocado. Then numbers 2 through 5 tend to change as I try new ones or as the season advances. You get me on July 1st, I'm going to tell you I love Simmons and I'm never going to stray from that. But then you get me in August when the Brogdons are coming in, I'll tell you I love Brogdon. But nothing ever knocks Lula out of first place for me. And I'm happy to announce that the new 7-acre grove that I've leased for the next 3 years has a few rows of Lula. And I'm going to be able to share the Lula with my customers, which I can't wait. California Fruit Tree Junkie. I love that name. And I'll tell you why, before I even read your comment, why I love that name. There's so many tree junkies. I've been at nurseries, hanging out with people, making videos, buying my own trees. and people recognize me, you know, they say, oh, Sleepy Lizard, I watch your videos, you know. And I get so many confessions that they'll be loading the car up with 5 or 6, you know, a couple of mangoes, a couple of jackfruit trees, what have you. And they say, I don't even have space in my yard to put these. I don't know where I'm going to put them. And so I get the whole fruit tree junkie thing. You know, it's like friends of mine I had that got real into tattoos. You start running out of space on your body, you know. What kind of rootstock is being used in Florida for avocados? Also, what do I think of Ronnie avocado? Is that better than a knobble or a reed? Okay, let me answer your questions in reverse order. I've eaten the Ronnie and loved it. I've never tried a nabal or a reed, so I can't compare them. I thought I tried a reed one time, but it wasn't. I was mistaken. That was like 7 or 8 years ago. But I love the Ronnie, and I like the fact that it can stay on the tree into March. But what I don't like about the Ronnie is if I'm leaving fruit on the tree till March, then how do I prune the tree that year for the upcoming season? Because it will already be flowering by the time I'm picking the last Ronnies. So it presents a little bit of a challenge as a commercial grower in that respect. What kind of rootstock do we use in Florida? Typically, we use Lula and Walden, or at least that's the answer most nurserymen will give you, and that's been the traditional answer. I think we export a lot of Walden seeds even over to California for that. But I think if you were a fly on the wall at most nurseries, and I think most nurserymen these days would also admit they use whatever they have that's a large seed. Because when you, the ones that the Choquette, the Monroe, they start out with a nice big fat large seed, and you just get this beautiful taproot and this beautiful root system, and whoosh, that shoot just shoots right up. But officially, like Walden and Lula are the ones recommended and most used as rootstock and most sought after for their rootstock. Jupiter wants to know about azomite on mango. I have no idea, dude. I just been using what the guys who taught me, you know, and I don't have a spraying license, so I hire that out. And they just what they've been giving me for the 13 years I've been doing this. So I don't even know all that's mixed in. I don't know even about azomite. Rockaways is recommending Brogdon and Choquette. Oh, Brogdon is delicious too. That's a great variety. That's a small, powerful avocado that you can eat right through the skin. The Choquette is way bigger. They get almost to 4 pounds. I think they get to 4 pounds. The biggest one I've ever weighed is 3.75. And have more of a thicker skin, but a very creamy, buttery flavor. The Brogdon, the skin is so thin you can eat through it. You can eat it like an apple. Greater Good uses azomite. Greater Good. Okay, Megan. Yeah, I already answered Megan's question. Thank you, Megan. So I don't plan to start selling trees, but I did give you a place to buy them. Nataros grows Namwa bananas and dwarf Brazilian. I've got dwarf Brazilian and Namwa myself, and I love them both. I like the Namwa better than the dwarf Brazilian. I find the Namwa is more productive. However, I also have my Namwas planted in a location where they receive more water. My Brazilians kind of are in a spot that doesn't get a lot of water, doesn't get a lot of irrigation in the dry season. William Patrick Fury, there's ways to get denser wood for fruits that you believe the video is titled Benefits of Sheep in the Orchard. Okay, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that's in reference to, but probably someone asked a question. So thank you for answering their question, William Patrick. Perry Bridgman, you really appreciate when I do these lives, so much great information. Sorry for the ass clowns. I love the ass clowns. I love it. I'm surprised my buddy ain't here that's always on these, that's got like 10 different usernames, unless this guy is one of them and he's messing with me, which is fine. I love them, and I love them on my comments. I really do, because you know what, they kind of shoot at me first, and I don't feel guilty about shooting back. It gives me a chance to kind of relive my youth in the backyard, in the playground, slinging insults at each other back when sticks and stones still didn't break our bones. They break your bones now, apparently, or back when sticks and stones did break your bones, but names could never hurt you. Apparently names can hurt you now. They don't hurt me anyway. They don't hurt my son either. Let's see. Rockaways, how come I'm so much fun to listen to? You never thought avocados could be so entertaining. That's hilarious. I think of the show Car Talk that used to be on NPR. These two MIT graduates, PhDs, scientists, would do a show called Car Talk, and people would call in and tell them weird things about their cars that the mechanics just couldn't figure out. And these guys would diagnose over the phone, and they knew about every make and model and every little glitch and and they were so entertaining, two brothers. And eventually, as they got older, one lapsed into dementia. And I think one, if not both, died, and very sad. But when we're done here, go to your YouTube search bar and look up NPR Car Talk. And you think, like, how could this be so entertaining, talking about broken cars? And I would think talking about planting avocados is even more boring. But then again, I've been a salesman all my life, and my ability to make money is highly correlated with my ability to keep a crowd engaged. So maybe I was just born that way. Ken De La Cruz, great question. Ken wants to know, what varieties of avocado will I be selling this year? Well, we just took on 7 more acres. So let me try to go in order, and I hope I don't miss any. We will have Donnie's. These dates are rough. Mother Nature is plus or minus, a couple weeks, right? Late May, Donnie. June, July, Simmons. August, Miguel. We will also have Pollock in August. We'll have some Catalina. We'll have some Black Prince, not a lot. Then starting in August, September, we'll start with Choquette. October, we will have Lula, finally. We will have Hall, maybe. Hall's an alternate bearer. I don't know if I'm gonna, from year to year, some I have more than I can sell. Other years I don't get that many Hall. Marcus Pumpkin. We have a couple rows of Marcus Pumpkin now. Those of you who've seen my videos on the Marcus Pumpkin are dying to try them. We'll have Marcus Pumpkin. We will have Booth 8, which was a new one I introduced y'all. It's not a new variety, but new to my customer base, because I got a hold of this grove toward the end of last year, and I was able to get some Booth 8 off the trees. People loved the Booth 8. Very small. Like when I say to you, this is small for a Monroe, a Booth 8 is less than half this, but they're supposed to be that small. And they've got a texture very similar to this Canistel. They don't have the typical creamy texture of an avocado. They've got more of like a Play-Doh texture like this. So that would be Booth 8. And then Monroe would start in November. And I should have enough Monroe. My goal next year is to get us all the way to Super Bowl Sunday. So even though I want to trim and top my trees before that, what I'm going to do, I think, every season is keep 2 rows of Monroe so I can get all the way to Super Bowl Sunday, so you guys can have Sleepy Lizard avocados and guacamole for the Super Bowl. And then the following year, I'll just make it 2 different rows, and I'll prune those rows. So I'll alternate prune, because I've got like probably 20 rows of Monroe. It's probably the one I've got more than anything. And so I might have missed 1 or 2, but that's the varieties I'll have. I do have a woman that likes me to sell her Russells for her. If she gets a crop, I might have some Russells, but they usually only last a couple days. Those are the big bowling pin ones, but I wouldn't count on that. Netros is also growing Goldfinger bananas, citrus, avocados, dragon fruit. He's in Utah. Yeah. All right. EW, good to see us. The avocado and mango cuttings are pushing out buds. And when I'm getting ready for my chicken coop, let them know. I know who you are now. Okay, I know exactly. I know who you are, EW. Thank you for reaching out to me. And yeah, I will be getting my workers, as soon as we finish picking pretty much this week, I'll be building the chicken coop out back here. So I'll let you know. Jordan L., how is my grove planted? Different types together in rows? No. Operationally, it probably makes more sense to have a Monroe section, a Choquette section, you know, Donnie, Simmons, etc. But from a pollination perspective, you're better to mix the A's and B's together. So, you know, a row of Monroe, a row of Choquette, a row of Monroe, where the branches are overlapping each other. So the honeybees, when the Choquettes are in their male phase, get the pollen, they go over to the Monroe, pollinate the Monroes, because when the Choquettes are male, the Monroes are in their female phase, and then later on that day, that it'll be reversed. They'll catch the pollen off the Monroe and go and pollinate the Choquette. So we intersperse them. Even in the Hass groves out in California and in Mexico, they put about every 7th avocado. Hass is a type A, flowering type A. They'll put one type B, and that B will pollinate the Hass. And the A, if you don't know what that is, you can go back about an hour in this stream and learn about what A and B means. So in terms of like for my boys, when they're out picking, it would be a tad more efficient to just shoot right down a row. But for production, we tend to mix. But it's not as inefficient as it sounds. I mean, they're still gonna work their way down rows, and they just might skip 2 trees, and you know, it's like you might get 10 Monroes, 2 Choquettes, and then 10 Monroes, and then the next row might be a bunch of Choquettes, a couple of Lula, something like that. Now, if you want to do 1 or 2 rows of one thing, 1 or 2 rows of another, it'll work. But the more overlapping branches of A's and B's you have, the better pollination you'll get. Don Smith says hi. Great to see us. How you doing, Don? Jordanelle is starting a farm in 9B. Good, perfect. You can grow a lot of this stuff that's here behind me. Greater Good's got a 1/4 acre fruit grove. That's awesome. Perry Bridgman. Sorry, buddy. No, you're cool. You don't have to apologize for nothing. I'm just saying, like, I'm the oldest of 4 boys, and I've been a salesman all my life. I walk with a limp. I have a bald head. I'm not only used to, maybe having less than pleasant conversations with people. I kind of like it. If you go back and look at comments in my videos, I love it. I mean, I got one little short about how to ripen an avocado, and I pinned the first comment. I think there's 600 replies of people messing with me. It was the greatest month of my life replying to those people. Rockaways. Yes. I'm okay with the sweet taste of Lula. I love the sweet. The Lula has a sweetness. That Booth 8 has a little bit of a sweetness to it. That Marcus Pumpkin I was telling you about has a little bit of a sweetness. I love the sweetness of a Lula. Yeah, Jordan's right. No one's mad at you, Perry. You're good. You're good. Let's see. Jupiter. Why aren't there more Moringa and soursop farms? I think soursop, I don't know much about it. I think it's a little challenging to grow. Guanabana soursop, and if I ain't mistaken, you got to go out and hand pollinate it at night. I might be wrong about that. As far as moringa, I don't know nothing about it, other than like I think it produces like leaves that you could make a tea with. But other than that, I don't know much about moringa, so I don't know the answer to that question. Sorry. Okay, Nataros, you're talking to Perry, so I'm not going to address that comment. Broke Farmer says, hey back. Denise Bell needs advice. Her avocado plant was looking good. Now the leaves are turning brown like a bug is eating them. Well, Denise, we're also getting into winter. Well, I don't know what hemisphere you're in. I'm assuming you're in North America. You going to bed, Tommy boy? No. Come here and say hello to our viewers. This is my son, Tommy. A lot of you haven't seen him in at least a year, if not 18 months. He had his 16th birthday yesterday. He's bigger than his dad now. Taller, weighs more, everything's bigger. He's stronger than Dad, and I love having him as helper on the farm.
Who do you have?
I got about 35 people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Greater Good, I always see him.
Yeah, Greater Good. Yeah, Greater Good's up. Yeah, I love Greater Good. Yeah.
I'm gonna.
You going to bed?
No, I'll eat some later.
No, we're getting off in a minute because this has been going on over an hour now. Okay. Denise, if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, in North America, whatever, we're in winter now. And you said you started it at home. I don't know if you mean it's indoors or outdoors, but as the air gets drier, things get crisper. The leaves do tend to shrivel and drop and get replaced with new green. It's probably not a bug. If anything, it would be a fungus. So you might want to try a little spray with copper antifungal every 30 days, get the bottoms and tops of the leaves, and you could get that at Home Depot. Edgar wants to know, Edgar Sanchez, to graft an avocado, could you use any type of avocado seedling? You can. It doesn't matter. You can graft any avocado cutting onto a seedling grown from any avocado seed. Frosty! How you been, buddy? I'll tell you what, Frosty. This is Frosty's Garden Adventures. He's in an opposite of a tropical environment. He's up in New England, and the guy grows bananas. The guy he grows a ton of stuff. In the summer, he always keeps a nice garden. And he also is a gamer, and he's got another channel where he games. I'm always trying to comment to him, but he's so involved in his game, he never answers back because he's too busy killing, final bosses or whatever. I don't know. I'm a little old to be using that lingo. Greater Good wants to know my solution for squirrels. I shoot them. I have a pellet gun, a varmint gun. It's a high velocity. It'd mess up a person too, if you shot them. But it's not like a 22 that's going to go like a mile, And I use the rounds that are meant for killing game. And just every couple weeks, you just blast a bunch of them. And I'll just leave them for the snakes to eat, or the foxes, or the hawks. Or if my son is having a sleepover, we'll skin them and fry them. And the boys kind of dare each other to eat the avocados, or eat the squirrels, which is hilarious. Greater Good, your son loves fruit but would never be willing to do the work. I'm a little lucky in that respect. My son enjoys working. I think he enjoys helping me more than the work itself. He knows as I'm getting a little older, I'm starting to slow down. I'm not debilitated or anything like that, but I'm certainly not what I was when I was 35 years old doing Ironman triathlons, And so it's good to have him help me out, and his friends. Most of them, some of them can't work. So I know, and it pisses me off to have a 16-year-old boy that is sitting there with a can of Coke in one hand and dragging a limb, like they don't even know to work with two hands. So when they're around, I don't even ask those guys to work because they just piss me off. But some of them are good workers too. Let's see. Oh, Broke Farmer just got a fantastic avocado. I just started hearing about that variety. I'd love to know what you think of it. Ken De La Cruz was able to get the Booth 8, and they're your favorites. I'll tell you what, I got amazing feedback on those Booth 8, and I'm going to have a lot more next year. I think I only shipped them for 2 weeks, and they sold out. But that's because I got to them late, and I had to be choosy about which ones I picked and shipped. Now that I'm going to be in control of this grove, the fruit's going to be cleaner, healthier, more productive. This grove has kind of been not neglected, but let's say ignored, or not optimized over the past years. And so I'm looking forward to get that going. But thank you for the feedback. My wife loves the Booth 8. Greater Good, yeah, I think I've created an online market for a lot of fruit. I think it's really interesting. Greater Good says I've created an online market for Booth 8. I definitely have. And Mamey also. A very interesting phenomenon took place with Mamey. When I first started selling Mamey 2 years ago, and even the beginning of last season, most of the last names, the surnames of my customers were Spanish. Mostly native Spanish speakers from people who grew up in parts of the world where Mamey is commonly grown and eaten. But little by little, people, from America, but other states, non-tropical locales, people who grew up in Wisconsin, Illinois, Northern California, Washington, they kind of trusted me. They've bought my mangoes, they've bought my avocados, they watch my videos, and they say, what the heck? I'll give it a taste, I'll give it a try. It's not a cheap fruit. They took a risk. I didn't run statistics, but I will say this. I got more direct positive feedback from people about the Mamey than any other fruit I've ever shipped in my life. People do rave about our mangoes too, which has nothing to do with the quality of our mangoes. It's more the handling. When you pick a mango off a tree, put it in a box and send it to someone's doorstep, it's going to taste better than one that was picked over in Thailand, immature, shipped over here while it was green and then gassed with like methane or something to kind of trick it into ripening, you know? So people give me good feedback on a lot of the fruit, but the Mamey, people would write back raving about it. They would order a second, a third, a fourth box. They would recommend it to their friends. And again, I don't have statistics to back it up, but I feel like I've built a little bit of an online market for Mamey as well. And then next year, certainly the Marcus Pumpkin. This year I didn't have a lot of them. I certainly have a big demand though. Denise Ball is in North Carolina. Denise, I having gone through a lot of hurricanes myself, I sympathize you if you got hit. I don't know if you're in the Asheville area or not. Video for Geeks is reading up on the Marcus Pumpkin. It's a monster. What's real interesting about the Marcus Pumpkin video for Geeks, it's a large avocado. Grows bigger than my choquettes, but if you hold up a choquette of equal size, you know, if they look roughly the same size, the choquette will weigh a lot more. Like a 3.5 pound choquette, that's the same size as the Marcus. The Marcus might only be 3 pounds or 2 and change, a little less than 3, because the choquette is a denser, heavier. I mentioned the Pollock variety earlier. The Pollock is a dense avocado. I mean, it is, you know, so even though it's huge, it's not as heavy as the choquettes, and they're so good. They are delicious. If you look in my channel, you'll see some videos about them. Okay, and Denise, you started indoors and you're in North Carolina. That's completely normal for avocado trees that are indoors in the winter. You're starting to use your heater in your house. You're turning your furnace on. You know, you might have floorboard heaters or radiators or, you know, something coming out of vents. That tends to be like a dries out the air. It's just a little bit of a different environment, and your avocado tree needs to adjust to it. Then when you put it back outside in the spring, the leaves are going to fall off again because it needs to adjust to outside. Extremely common. You'll see it here on this. People talking about that all the time. Spencer wants to know, do I offer the Russell, the fruit, not the tree? Yes and no, Russell. I've got a woman who has an organic farm who, depending on what she does from year to year, sometimes she sells them through me. They're not mine. I don't grow them. I did have a farm that I was leasing that grew Russell, but that farm got sold, so I no longer have access to them. And I've been trying to find a grove that sells Russell. And I've planted, I think, 5 Russell trees in my grove here at my house in the back corner, but it'll be another 3-4 years before that's producing at commercial level. So I'm hoping she wants to sell her organic Russells through me again this year, but we'll see. So I don't know if I'm gonna have the Russells again, but like I say, if I do, I'm just a middleman because my customers love them and she needs a place to sell. They're not grown by me. But in a few years, I'll have ones that are grown by me. Nataros ordered a fantastic avocado on eBay, and they sent him a haul. Haul is also cold hardy, Nataros, but if you order a particular kind of tree, I mean, it's on them. They need to send you the tree you ordered. So I hope they make it good. You know, I hope they fix that for you. Jupiter Mojo, when's the next public expo fair for fruit selling? I'm not real sure. A lot of that stuff will be announced, and I will know because a lot of people ask me to help them promote their events. You know, Fairchild Tropical Garden does their thing in July. I know Alex and the folks up in West Palm Beach had from what I hear, an amazing mango festival. Last year I wasn't able to attend it. And I think they want to build on that and make it even better this year. But I don't know any of the dates yet. Finca, micronutrient product. I'll have to get an answer to that. I don't know precisely what's in the mix, Finca. Greater Good. I don't know. I'll see if I attend the Mango Fest 2025. I'll see. Depending on what the agenda is and the location and all that kind of stuff. I'm an outdoor cat, and last year's was I felt like last year's was more like going to school. It was inside a building with like conference rooms and stuff. You know, that's not a place for me. But we'll see. Let's see. Video for Geeks. What are you saying, boobit? What is that? Can you spell it? Boobit. Who you but boobit. I don't know what you're saying, dude. I'll monitor what words are coming out of my mouth. I'm not boob it. I don't know. I don't know what you're asking there. Denise, you have it in your window. That window gets a lot of sunlight. I think it's more due to humidity in the air, but they get a shock. Your tree gets a shock when you take it from outdoor to indoor. Denise, it's going to get a shock, and then when you take it from indoor to outdoor, it's going to get another shock, and it's going to shed leaves and grow new ones. It's natural. It happens to everybody. Rockaway's missed out on the customer meet and greet. I'm gonna put more effort into doing better, more well thought out, properly planned one. That was a great day. We had a blast. Great people showed up. It was so fun to put faces to names and also to meet people. And then since then, a lot of people, they're coming over here to the Grove maybe once every 3-4 weeks and picking their own avocados. And I've gotten to meet so many nice people at that. Then, as is typical in South Florida, the skies opened up, it rained like crazy, chased everyone home, and no one else came out. So I need to do it here at my farm and think it through a little better. Perry, when I say I planted a Russell, how big of old a tree did I start with? I like to plant 7-gallon trees, Perry. And most 7-gallon avocados, unless it's maybe some unscrupulous nurseryman who take what should be in a 3-gallon pot, put it in a 7-gallon pot and tell you it's a 7-gallon. But for all the years I've been buying trees, a 7-gallon, comes in a 7-gallon pot. It's the perfect size for the 18-inch drill, because remember, we plant in solid limestone coral rock here in South Florida. And so the hole is the perfect size for that size pot, and they typically come up to about my chin. So I'm 5'8", so say they're about 60 inches tall. I like to plant at that height. A Russell, though, is a what do you call it? A long neck avocado, and its growing characteristics are leggy, and so a Russell isn't going to be like a nice tall tree that's up to my chin. A 7-gallon Russell is going to be a bush that kind of cascades out to the sides and is maybe like, to my sternum in a 7-gallon. And that's what I put them in at. And the reason I like a 7-gallon from attaching to the ground and getting a root system going, perfect would be 1 gallon, right? You only got to dig a smaller hole. You stick it in there, the roots are going to establish real good. It's a tiny tree. When the big winds start, it's not going to blow them over. The downside is small trees like that get eaten by critters. Even if a neighbor's dog jumps the fence and gets in your yard, they can eat a 1-gallon tree, or deer or stuff like that. Very easy to run them over with a lawnmower or something like that. As hard as I try, and I'm out there with equipment every single day, and you tell yourself, I'm never going to run over another sprinkler again. I'm never going to run over another baby tree. It happens. On the other hand, but the downside is you got to wait a long time for that tree to fruit. On the other hand, you could get a 25-gallon, which could very well have fruit on it in the pot when you buy it. You got to dig a bigger hole. You put it in the ground. It's 8 or 9 feet high with a big old canopy. The root system hasn't established yet, so you need to prop it with 2x4s. And even when you have it propped, something as simple as a summer thunderstorm could knock it to the ground. And so I find the 7-gallon to be that Disney, what do they call it? Goldilocks zone. It's just right. The 1 gallon is too small. The 25 is too big. The 7-gallon is just right. It's small enough that it's not going to get knocked over in a thunderstorm, and has time to grow a root system. So when it is big enough, it's going to stay up. Nothing's going to stay up in a hurricane, and it's close enough to fruiting that you're like 2 years away from getting decent fruit off of it. We're running out of time here, guys. I need to start wrapping up, and although I've been eating fruit, I got to eat my dinner. I still have to cook my dinner. But let's take a few more questions and then we'll wrap this thing up. Let's see. Hello, your Bridge Zero. His seed-grown avocado produced its first 2 avocados. Congratulations. You picked one and let it ripen. After 7 days, the skin turned red, green, and black. Are you aware of any variety that does that? Yes, I am. Yeah. I had my own seed-grown, gave me 1 avocado this year for the first time, and it too got a red hue to it. Could be that we use the same kind of seed. I don't know. But yeah, some of them turn black, some of them turn reddish, some of them even do that on the tree. Fruitful Finca, do you need spray your avocado trees monthly with copper fungicide? Yes, you should. And that keeps the fungus off the tree. And so off the fruit and off of the leaves. So you don't get this, nasty, well, that's more of a kiss mark from banging into other avocados. But you get this little fungus, and that will eventually, let me see if I can find one here. I can't, well, this here, it'll eventually start to scab up on you. And a minor case of it, the fruit's fine on the inside, but when it gets too much, it goes through the skin and blackens the fruit on the inside. Also, it causes fruit drop. So you've got a bunch of fruit on your tree will start to drop it. It damages the leaves, which impairs their ability to do photosynthesis. So it's the right thing to do. And I apologize to anyone who thinks, farmers are poisoning the earth. We're not. We're feeding 8.1 billion hungry mouths every day. And part of that means we have to increase the yield and maximize the yield of our trees. And that means protecting them from things like fungus. Growing together. Hi, how you doing, man? Welcome. Josh Mick. Oh, booth 8. That might be what okay. That might be what Jordan is asking about. Booth, or Video for Geeks, Boobit. Booth 8. So Booth is the last name of I guess a prominent family down here, because you hear about Booth varieties of fruit all the time, and that's number 8. I guess they had a 1 through 7. Maybe there's a 9, 10. Actually, I've heard of a Booth 7 also. Let's see. Josh Mick. Okay, Raphael. Have I ever heard of Collinson? No, I have not heard of the Collinson avocado. Every year I discover more. I'm taught, people give me more varieties. Okay, Video for Geeks. It's the Booth 8. Greater Good is causing trouble. Denise, you're welcome. Josh Mix, chickens, any kind of critters will get out there. Or even what happens is the grass will grow faster, or the weeds will grow faster and higher than your seedling and snuff it out. It's best to put it in when it's a little bit bigger. Carlos says, hola, Tom from Orlando. Hola. Jupiter, when did you say you'd have Lula? October. They come in the month of October. Mad Farm, am I familiar with Charwill? Dude, I've been trying to get my hands on a Charwill. Not a tree or a cutting. I just want to taste the fruit. I have heard amazing things about the Charwill variety of avocado, and I am dying to try one. Someone please send me a Charwill. Mad Farm needs bigger videos, Greater Good is saying, and Greater Good consumes a lot of fruit-oriented YouTube content. So if he's telling you he wants to hear more from you, you must be good. Broke Farmer tells people to help the farmers by growing something instead of complaining. Yeah, you're right, Broke Farmer. I mean, come on. We take a lot of heat for, look, I was in sales all my life too, so I'm used to taking heat for my chosen career. And it's like, people hate salesmen, but every time you buy something, you buy it off a salesman. I don't know, your kid has a diaper rash. Somewhere along the line, someone sold that lotion to a grocery store or a pharmacy. You bought it from them, and your kid has relief now. Thank a salesman. Or in our case, thank a farmer, right? Broke Farmer, do I still have Mamey for sale? I do, Broke. In fact, I just put it up for pre-sale now, and in about 2 weeks, we're gonna start scratching and checking. You got here a little late. I do happen to have a Poso Azule variety Mamey that ripens this time of year, and it is absolutely delicious. So I'm going to take another bite of my Mamey. I'm going to take another bite of this delicious Canistel, give you guys a chance to ask me your last questions, and we'll say goodbye for the night. Oh my God, I don't think I'm going to cook dinner tonight. I think I'm just going to eat this fruit, call it a night, go to bed. Oh, that's good. All right. Last couple questions, and then we're out of here. Did I know how to speak Spanish after I became an avocado farmer? I learned to speak Spanish probably 20 years ago. I worked for one of the largest corporations in the world, and they assigned me, Puerto Rico was part of my territory, and as part of that, they sent me to like a very expensive, like high quality one-on-one Spanish class, 9 hours a week. I mean, it was an intensive, not necessarily an immersion, but a high intensity, 3 hours on Monday, 3 hours on Wednesday, 90 minutes on Friday. I guess that's 7.5 hours a week. So almost a full work day a week. I did it after hours. I did it in the evenings of Spanish training. So I could, you know, manage in Puerto Rico 20 years ago, 15 years ago. Now everyone in Puerto Rico speaks English, but back then, a lot of the hospital executives I was dealing with were, you know, older men who never learned English. And then, you know, then move into this, of course, this is all done in Spanish, the agriculture. So I get to keep it fresh. And I married, well, my wife speaks English, but, you know, we could speak Spanish if we want to, too. What's the best way to enjoy a Lula, Rockaways wants to know? Cut it in half, sprinkle a little salt, or leave it plain. Get out a spoon and eat it just like I've been eating this Mamey. Just scoop it right out of the half. It's got a very thick, not a very thick, but a thicker skin that acts almost like a bowl. The Lula is such a good variety avocado that I don't want to add anything to it other than maybe a little salt, depending on how I'm feeling that day. I just love the flavor so much, I just want to eat it like that. What variety of Canistel? I don't know. Rockaways wants to know. I should have asked. Broke Farmer's headed to the website. Thank you. He's referring to guacfarm.com, guacfarm.com. Jupiter Mojo wants to know when the Monstera Deliciosa will be available for shipping. August. That's a rare fruit. We'll do that on another. We'll talk about that when it's closer to ripening, but a delicious corn-shaped fruit. Doesn't look edible at all, and it's one of the sweetest, most delicious fruits you'll ever eat in your life. And Mad Farm, good to get to know you. He don't know how to link his channel, so he's just like me. Even though I have a degree in computer science, I don't know how to do a lot of this stuff. So we've been here for about an hour and a half. My stomach's rumbling. My kid's stomach is rumbling. I know he wants to get at the stove there and make his ramen noodles, so I thank y'all for being here, especially since this wasn't announced. It just cropped up. And thank you for spending your evening with me. I appreciate it. And we will see you on the next live.